Hi everyone, it's Barry here from Mitosu Crafts, your independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator based here in the UK. Thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for joining us for this month's Stamp Around UK video hop. Theme of this month is embossing fun, and this is the project I am going to show you how to create today. So lots of embossing going on, lots of techniques. So this is what we're going to do. So yes, embossing fun is the theme of today. I'm going to be using the Merriest Moments stamp set paired with the Merriest Frames dies and the Merriest Frames hybrid embossing folder. So like I say, I'm going to have embossing paste and I'm going to have embossing folder. Lots of embossing going on today as well, and there's even embossing on the dies as well. There's a little bits of detail in the dies as well, so there's lots and lots of embossing fun going on today throughout this tutorial. As this is a video hop, everyone's links are down in the description down below as well. So after you've had a little look at finish watching this video, please make sure you head over to some of the or all of the other guys as well in the video hop. They would love to for you to watch their videos and support us. And I'm sure you're going to come up with lots and lots of ideas to using embossing. So there's heat embossing probably going to be going on. There's going to be paste embossing. There's stenciling. There's going to be a variety of a load of stuff. So please make sure you check everyone out. Links can be found down below in the description to continue on with this video hop. Everything you see us using, you can find, you can purchase from us via our online shop. So links again can be found down below, just below the links to everyone else's videos. So please make sure if you do fancy purchasing anything, links to our online shop can be found down below as well. But with that in mind, I'm going to crack on, show you how I made this project right here. So please sit back, relax and enjoy it. First things first, we're going to need to take a few, you've got quite a few tools for this actually. Let's say I'm going to be doing some stenciling with some shimmery embossing paste. So I've got my stencil, I've got my shimmery paste and I've got my spatula. I'm also going to be using a silicone craft sheet as well. Just to help with the paste. So that's some of the tools which I'm going to be using. I'm also going to be using some re-inkers. So I've got myself some Night of Navy re-inker here. Inks I'm going to be using some of the Pacific Point and Granny Apple Green ink. And I'm going to be using the Season's Greetings sentiment from the Merriest Moments stamp set. As for the cardstock, which we will need, I've got myself an A6 card here. So this is A5 scored in half at 10.5 centimeters. That's going to create my A6 card base. I've got myself some Night of Navy cardstock. This is measuring 9.5 centimeters by 13.6 centimeters. And I've also got myself some vellum here. This is just cut to A6 or something which is big enough to go through the embossing folder. Okay, so that's that one. I've already gone ahead and I've gone and pre-die cut some of the little flowers in here, some little poinsettias in some Coastal Cabana. That is what they've been cut out in, and you're going to need a little bit of for some stamping as well with the flowers, which is these ones right here, and I'm going to be stamping those in Pacific Point. One more thing which I will be using is I'm going to be using some of this ribbon here. So this is the white glittered organdy ribbon. I'm going to be using this one as well. Got some lovely glitter in that, and it's really stunning. First thing I'm going to do though is I'm going to actually do the embossing with the embossing paste, so I can then pop that to one side. That can then be drying whilst I do everything else, so it's a good practice to do that. And so yes, that's what I'm going to start off with first, show you that embossing technique with the embossing paste, and then we'll move on to the rest of the card. So what we're going to do with the stencil is we're going to place the stencil over our Night of Navy cardstock. I'm going to pick up a little bit of paste, like so. That's probably a little bit too much. It's easier to add more than it is to take away once we've added the colour. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using some of the Night of Navy re-inker here to pop some streaks into it. So I'm just going to literally just pop my paste on my spatula. I'm then going to run this through. So I've got this white paste going onto my blue cardstock. Then what we can do is we can then take some of the re-inker, and then what we would just want to add some drops onto the tiny bits onto our spatula here, just little bits, not put much on there at all. And then I'm just going to then run this through and then pick some of this up and then just spread it around a little bit. So we've got some of this colour is then going into the snowflakes here. So it's a bit of a hit and miss technique. So you don't want to overwork this as well. You just want to kind of like just streak it in and then job's done. Because once you've done it, if you overwork it, you're going to end up turning the whole thing completely blue. So if you want these streaks in it, you just kind of need to now just leave it where it is, pop it in there. Looks a bit of a mess at the moment, but the magic will be once we take this off. So this is how you can use embossing paste. So you can either just use it plain and have a nice white shimmery paste to it. You can colour the whole thing. This is what it looks like. So this was the white paste and I coloured the whole thing with some of the Night of Navy. So that's Night of Navy on Night of Navy here. Really, really interesting. Or you can do it where you can streak it. Obviously you can't pop this back into your paste. So you're gonna have to waste this. So either try and get it on there if you can, or just, yeah, don't use as much, but try and get that in there as best as you can. Try and fill that up. All right, so you're not going to waste much. Then we can then pull this off carefully, and then we can then see, can you see how that happens there? So you've got this nice white snowflakes, but you've got these nice white, you've got these nice blue streaks and patterns going through it in between the whites. I think that's a really nice technique. So it's a fun way of using your embossing paste. What I would recommend you do is pop this to one side to dry, and whilst that's drying, go and wash these straight away once you've finished with them. It's a lot easier to wash it now whilst the paste is wet rather than letting it dry. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to go and pop these in the sink and get them washed, and then I'll come back and then complete the rest of the card. Okay, so I've just gone and dried and cleaned and dried my stencil, and so this is the finished project. Okay, so we'll just leave that to one side to dry for a moment. Then what I'm going to do is I am going to now do the stamping and die cut, and then I'm going to then do some embossing as well with the embossing folder. Stamp the larger flower in Pacific points, and I'm going to do the same here with the small flower, and I'm going to stamp the centre elements in Granny Apple Green. Go ahead and die cut these out, as well as die cutting yourself out around about 6 of the elements right here, which are the small flowers which come with that set. So once we've gone ahead and we've gone and stamped and die cut all of our elements, we're then going to do the embossing and die cutting of the vellum piece. So you want to grab your embossing folder. So this is the Merriest Frames Hybrid embossing folder. So this is one where we can pop the die and we can die cut and emboss at the same time. So we've got our outer frame right here, and what we want to do is we want to seat this into the die. Pop our vellum or our cardstock over the top of it, and then we want to then close that down. Okay, bring in our large machine, and we're going to have to use the large machine on this one here so it's suitable for doing the 3D, because obviously it's a chunkier folder as well. So you're going to need to use the 3D embossing plates. So using it with plate number 1 and plate number 4. Run this through your machine, and what that's going to do, that's going to emboss, and that is going to cut that bit of vellum paper. Very clever how this works. And we then take this out, take that die out here, remove the outer part, which has also got some lovely embossing on that one as well, so you could also use that. But the part which we're really keen on is this one right here. Can you see what has happened there? You've got some lovely white embossing, and it's cut that out for you perfectly. It's really beautiful. What we can do, pop that part to one side, Now we could take this one, the other part, we then pop this over the top of this and then run this through our machine again. Pop that over the top, so reseat that back in and then run this through your machine. And then what we've got, well, what this has gone and done is that this has now cut an outline around this. How stunning, how beautiful is that? It's really, really nice. So you've got your embossing, which we've gone and done with our embossing paste. We have got our embossing, which we have got with this hybrid embossing folder right here, and dies, stunning, perfectly matched together. So take your card base, and what I want to do is I want to take off a strip about 1 1/8 of an inch, so, or just under, it's about 2.8 centimeters. Just cut that off of one side. And what we're doing is we're kind of creating a bit of a channel here. And then what we want to do, we want to then take our emboss piece, which we've got here with our paste. We want to run this through, and I'm going to take this to 7 centimeters, so which is 2 3/4 of an inch. And I'm now just going to cut a strip off from here. And then what I want to do is I then want to stick this piece to this side over here, and this piece is going to get stuck on the inside like so, like that. So that's that one there. So we've kind of created a little bit of a channel there, so it makes the card look slightly different once that's in. Just leave that to one side now and just let that dry and set itself up. So that's that card base. Take your vellum piece, which you've gone and die cut and embossed, and then what we want to do is we want to then cut this in half. So just eyeball it, cut it in half. And then you then want to then stick these two together. If need be, just take some of these little bits off if it looks a little bit odd. And then just stick these two together, depending on what way round you want it. I think it looks nice on that side there. And we're going to stick this together by popping a little bit of glue in the middle. Nowhere else, because we can then cover this up with the sentiment later on. So a little bit of glue in the middle, like so. And then just stick this together like that. All right, so that there, we've created ourselves a smaller piece right now. Pop that to one side to let that dry. Then what we want to do is we want to do something with the sentiment as well. So grab yourself another piece of cardstock, and then what you want to do is we want to die cut out the rectangle. So in the dies, so this is a fun technique as well. In the dies, you've got this rectangle piece right here. Just run that through your machine and just die cut this one out. Then once you've gone ahead and done that, we then want to kind of reseat it back in again. Now this will be depending on how big your sentiment is. So choose your sentiments. You can actually go ahead and you can then stamp this first if you wish, just so you can then get your positioning sorted out. So we're going to stamp our sentiments towards the top part of it, like so. All right. Then what we want to do is we then want to then reseat this die back in again, so it then catches in with the bits which it's cut out in there, so like the little stitching. You can actually feel it will start to sit back in that stitching again, which it's gone and done, and then run that through the machine once again, and that's how you can then create yourself a smaller die using a rectangle. And if necessary, if you're struggling for it to stay in place, grab yourself a little bit of low tack tape and then just tape it into place on one side. That will help that sit in, and then run that through your machine. And then you can then see you have then got yourself a new, smaller sentiment out of a larger rectangle. So that's a fun technique for you to try as well. So we have got our elements. So we've got our card, which is now getting stuck right this. We have now got our piece right here, which is stuck in the middle, which is then going to get stuck over this. So we're going to pop some of this here is going to go with some dimensionals. So we're just going to pop some dimensionals again where we can like pop that glue in the center down there, because that part is again is all going to get covered over. So just pop a couple of dimensionals, and then we then just want to then stick that like so there. All right, so you've got that in the middle. Then we then want to then pop some dimensionals around onto our bits like this. So I'm going to pop a dimensional. I'm going to double dimension this because I need some height. So take one off and then pop another one on top of it, and that's how you double dimension. All right, and then we will then do the same with the sentiment. But before we do the sentiment, what I need to do is I need to pop the ribbon down first. So I'm going to grab my ribbon. Nice and simple. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to measure 2 pieces, which are approximately the length of the card. So about that one, and we need 2 of those. And cut them at a slight angle so you've got yourself a little bit of a fancier end to it. And then we want to then stick these in the center like this, kind of crisscrossing over. Okay, so it's kind of going to go like that again, covering up that center part where we have got the glue and the dimensions. So just stick that down with a little bit of a glue dot is all you need. So grab your glue dots here and just kind of stick one glue dot down there, and then stick these over like so, and then one more. Then with the sentiments, again some more dimensionals. Stick your sentiment over those like that. So you've kind of got that in there now. All right, and then we will then stick this double dimension flower is going to go over this side right here, just to the off side of that one. This one here can go onto some glue, so the larger one, pop some glue and then tuck it underneath this like that. Okay, and then to finish this off, we then want to then pop some of these smaller flowers, a little bit of glue behind all of this, and then just dot these around. So we're going to go with one over here, and then once we've gone ahead and we've gone and stuck those pieces on, grab yourself some of the rhinestone basic jewels here, and we can then just stick some of the smaller ones in the center of these flowers right here, and then one of the larger ones we just prise that flower up a little bit, that petal, and then we can just have one over there like that. And that there is today's project for the Stamp Around UK video hop with the theme of embossing fun. So lots of embossing techniques on that one there. So we've got embossing paste with a stencil, we've got the lovely hybrid embossing folder and dies for the vellum element right there, which is really pretty. Really nice. You've got some detail, there's a little bit of detail which is crept in on these small coastal cabana pieces right there as well. But overall, obviously, the whole thing is just, yeah, there's just lots of little techniques. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Please remember to give us a thumbs up if you have enjoyed what you have seen. Also hit that subscribe button as well somewhere over here. Links to everyone else in the video hop for the Stamp Around UK video hop can also be found down below in the description. So please make sure you you continue on with this hop and go and see what other fun projects everyone else has made with the theme of embossing fun. just like to say thank you very much for watching, and yes, we'll be back with you again very soon with another video tutorial. Please check out our channel for more, and we'll be back with you again for another Stamp Around UK video hop on the 1st of December. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you again very soon. Take care for now. Bye bye.